lives of millions now rested in her hands. "Wake up, Andy," he thought again. She looked so frail as she lay on the soft white medical bed now, lost in sleep. Dex winced as he imagined what she likely saw there. Nightmares. Never dreams, not anymore. The harsh lights of the med bay bounced off of the silver plates implanted across Andy's cheekbones as Dex leaned back, stretching his aching muscles. He'd hardly moved from this spot since they'd fled Arcadius, determined to be by her side when she finally awoke. Determined to be the one to tell her all that had happened, even though he couldn't yet find the words to do so. Dex closed his eyes, remembering that fateful night, remembering the desperate words of Cyprian Cordus, the former general of Arcadius, as he lay dying in this very medbay. The fate of the galaxy is at stake. The leaders are dead, and I'm sure their successors soon will be as well. Androma is the only Arcadian on this ship once I die. If she survives, Androma Racella will be the rightful general of Arcadius. General of Arcadius, leader of the planet that had once wanted her dead. God stars, how she would hate the very idea of it. Dex sighed heavily and shifted his chair closer to Andy, tentatively grazing a hand against hers. The warmth of her skin was soothing. That small sign of life, the only thing that made the knot of tension inside him loosen in the slightest. He studied the thick white bandage on her chest just below her collarbone. Hidden beneath were the dark stitches that held her skin together, mending the flesh that Valen's knife had torn apart. Dex had seen and inflicted plenty of wounds, some far more gruesome than this. But seeing Andy in such a state brought back a wave of memories that sent his head spinning out of control. Valen Cortis stood before Andy at the Eucatoria ball, blood dripping from the knife he'd just plunged into her chest. Andy fell to her knees, grasping for the hilt with shaking hands, wrenching the blade free. Then she swayed, and the knife tumbled to the ground as Andy collapsed, surrounded by a growing pool of her own blood. He was too late. For a heartbeat, Dex thought she was dead. All around him the room was growing quieter, the screams dying down. A few more shots here, a few more there, the thump of a body hitting the floor, the click of another silver bullet sliding into a rifle's chamber. Dex finally reached the stage. The system leaders were huddled together in their chairs, bodies of patrolmen littering the ground around them. But Andy was the only person he had eyes for. "Hang on," Dex said to Andy. His fingers found her throat. A tiny heartbeat beneath her skin. "You just hang on." Dex blinked at the sound of Andy's sudden groan. He realized he'd been squeezing her hand too hard. The ends of his fingernails, ragged from chewing the past few sleepless nights, were biting into her palm. He let go at once, but leaned forward all the same, unable to look away from her face. "Andy?" Her eyelids fluttered. For a moment, Dex feared she was dying, that her stitches had become infected, or the blood that Lon had donated in the few precious moments after their escape had mixed wrongly with hers, universal donor or not. Perhaps even the God-Star of Death, still so hauntingly present in this room, was laughing as he raised a shadowy scythe and readied himself to bring Andy to the other side. But then her eyes opened, gray as a storming sea. Dex let out a whooshing breath that he hadn't even realized he'd been holding. "Hey," he said, feeling the tightness flood from him, gone in an instant. "How are you feeling?" "Dex?" For a moment, Andy simply looked around, as if trying to make